Alright, Frontal Blessings, we are back with another video. Before we begin, let's just run through a couple quick announcements. If you are interested in a yearly forecast reading, those are going on hard right now. If you are interested in a yearly forecast reading, they'll be running to the end of February. You can book yours now. I would encourage you to do so as soon as you are able to, due to the amount of yearly forecast readings I'm currently doing right now. If you're interested in any other type of reading that I offer, Clepothic Demonic readings, Santa Muerte readings, Egyptian Oracle readings, Shadow Work readings, as you know, which is always a great reading to do if you're looking for a sense of purpose, sense of direction, trying to figure it out. Shadow Work reading is always a great reading to do that. Or maybe you're just interested in a spiritual consultation. And people use a spiritual consultation, as I said before. Some people just have a bunch of questions they want to ask, and they come with a full list of questions. Some people focus on specific areas of the path. You know, they have certain areas of interest they want to focus on. Other individuals might want to focus on a specific thing that may be going on in their life, possibly. Hang tight, trying to get through this opening here. It could be any of those things. You can use it for whatever you want, but I do want to make it clear, because I constantly sometimes have to do this periodically to remind people. A spiritual consultation is not a reading. Sometimes I say this occasionally because there'll be an instance where somebody will get on the phone and they'll be like, thinking it's a reading, and I'm like, that's not what it is, all right? So I just want to be clear. A consultation is just what I described. A reading is a reading, all right? If you're interested in any of the aforementioned, shoot me an email, khnum19@gmail.com. Please include in that email your full weekly availability and the time zone you're in, and we'll find a time and a date that works for both of us, all right? Also, if you want to sign up for classes, all right, the way you sign up for classes is real simple. Go to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page, patreon.com/Baniti, B-A-N-I-T-I, Tier 3. Tier 3 is the tier you want to join. That gives you access to the 3 private classes I do every month on Patreon, in addition to the group ritual that we do at the end of the month. Also, keep in mind, when you join the Patreon page, it doesn't just give you access from the day you join moving forward. It gives you access to everything in the archives going back roughly about 5 years now, all right? So if you want to see all the ongoing classes, we've got 2 new classes that begin this month, one beginning this Friday night. The 2 new classes that I've added to the ones that you'll see on there, to a large amount of ongoing classes, with 2 new ones just added, Egyptian Hermetic Alchemy, and then the Necronomicon class, the first classes of those 2 classes will be this month. All the dates are posted for the January events. This month's ritual, like we do every year, we kick off the new year with a Black Mass. This year we're going to do the Black Mass of Set. Last year was the Black Mass of Lucifer. But it's always in that spectrum to kick the year off. So that's this month's ritual at the end of the month. But if you're interested, that's the way, and that's what you want to do. Go to patreon.com/Baniti, B-A-N-I-T-I, Tier 3. That's the tier you want to join. All right. Also, don't forget to check out the social media pages. Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, all one word. Primordial Chaos, 2 words, on Facebook, and Primordial Chaos 3 on TikTok. Don't forget to check out the Primordial Chaos podcast, available on Spotify and all major podcast platforms. The direct link to my podcast, my contact email address, all the links to the social media pages, and the Patreon page for classes. All of those links are in the description box of this video that you're watching right now. All right, so again, while we're in the very early stages of a new year, it's 2025. We're about a week and a half in. New year, new things. Not just doing things, not just resolutions and trying to correct things, and it's a lot of it is lip service, but it's that time where now you should be focused and centered on your goals. right? But what I want to focus on in this video, okay, is a specific aspect of shadow work, okay? A specific aspect of shadow work, and I'll title it simply, do not carry dead weight from 2024 into 2025. That's simple. So what I would ask of everyone, okay, if you're on the occult, if you're on the left-hand path, if you're putting in the work, okay, real simple. Do a detailed analyze your surroundings, analyze your life, the circles you walk in, the people you keep company with, the things you do, and be honest with yourself and ask yourself, are these things productive? And what is it that, and this comes up for a lot of you guys, especially in your yearly forecast readings, what is it you need to cut away, remove from yourself that could be creating blockages? Because, see, a lot of people that are dealing with struggles, issues, blockages, or whatever terminology you want to use, they all fall kind of together in the same spectrum and category. A lot of people don't realize a lot of those things are self-created and self-inflicted, okay? A lot of people don't realize that. And sometimes the solution is just making an adjustment in your life. Now, when I say what dead weight are you carrying, and that falls in the spectrum in the category of person, places, and things. So let's first start with persons, people, right? Real quick. This usually is one of the strongest contributing factors why people got some bullshit going on in their life and why people got some bullshit going on around them. Now, first, you got to start with relationships, your significant others. Yes, I'm talking about sexual and romantic relationships, marriages, committed relationships, whatever you want to talk about, your significant other. Some people are in denial that sometimes the very fucking problem that's creating blockages and issues for them is laying right next to them in bed every night, and they're in denial about it. Some people go into relationships thinking they're going to change somebody, right? Because there's that physical attraction there, and then they go, all right, well, then they're not on the path, or they're not really of a like mind to me, but I can fix that. I can change that over time. Maybe a very small percentage of people can. Very small percentage. But 9 out of 10 times you're not going to be able to. So people stay in relationships thinking they're going to change and fix the person the way they want them to be. And then over time it becomes disastrous and it blows up in their face. So start with the very people that are close to you, right at arm's length. Be real with yourself. And it could be a significant other. It could be a direct family member. It could be a direct sibling. Are they your crutch? Are they handicapping you, holding you back, holding you down? And you're just either in denial about it or you refuse to see it. Okay? We don't want to start with the things that are closest to us sometimes because we're in denial about it sometimes. Right? We want to look everywhere else but where we should be looking right in front of us. Also, second in regards to that, look at your circle of friends and company that you keep. That's step 2 when it comes to people. Are you hanging around lowlifes, derelicts, losers, unsuccessful people? People that are not productive to your growth, that are not on the same spiritual frequency as you are. Right? All of that creates opposition because it's in opposition to who and what you are. So now look at that. What kind of circles do I walk in? What kind of company do I keep? What kind of people do I associate with and socialize with? All right, check that spectrum of things, and you're going to find out, I'm sure there's things there that you can cut away with no problem. Look, just because you like something or love something or somebody, and you've been with, sometimes it's a matter of being complacent and you just become comfortable with shit and you just start to accept shit. And that's not going to work too well for you. if you're really on this path doing the work, I always, there's this thing you hear me describe many times over the years in different classes, like when you're in a relationship with somebody and you guys are traveling at first together, which appears in the beginning to be on that same path or road. But then as you're growing and evolving, and that person isn't, you get to that fork in the road where sometimes you got to part ways, because as you get to that fork, you need to stay on that path to the left, and they don't want to go that way. They want to stay on the path to the right. And unfortunately, that's the hand that is dealt. Okay? Some people don't see that. They ignore it, they bypass it, and then disaster kicks in. Okay? So you've got to ask yourself, what kind of people are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of people do you deal with? What kind of relationship are you in? How is your partner, your significant other? Is it productive for your spiritual growth? You don't know how many people I know over the years through readings and consultations that they're in very constricted, and when I say abusive relationships, I'm not just talking about physically, mentally, emotionally abusive, verbally, spiritually. All right? If you're in a relationship where you can't practice your path of spirituality because you got a significant other that's suppressing it for whatever reason, or maybe it's just not down with it, that's a problem to your growth. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. At what point in time does that create a serious issue? Okay? Same thing with friends, people you associate with, circles you walk in. So check the people in your life. Sometimes relationships just run their course on all levels, whether it's personal, romantic, business. They just run their course. They serve their purpose. So you've got to look at it, and you need to make that assessment. You got to make those decisions, those changes, those choices that must be done in order for you to bring about the change that's necessary in your life for your growth. Nobody else is going to do it for you. Okay? That's just, you got to do it for yourself. All right? So look there. Now, let's talk about spiritual things real quick. This is another killer. And I would say these two are pretty close hand in hand, but these definitely are the top two spiritual blockage killers that prevent people from growing. And I've really been, what I'm about to say, I've been saying this for the last several years now, but some are getting it. They're taking heed. They're making the adjustment to their life. And I'm not saying this because I'm saying it. I'm saying it because it's common sense and it's fact. Some people just do not want to stop holding on to spiritual shit that serves them no purpose. Okay? This is another top killer of why people don't grow on this path and get results. If you want to straddle the fence and play it safe, again, this is not the path. People come over again, as I've said many times over the years, from previous spiritual paths or systems of spirituality, and bring that same bullshit with them. You got people on the path of the occult who still want to be Hoteppers. They still want to be, Ephod out, Alafia family, Ashe, Grand Rising, and all that bullshit. And as I said before, it cracks me up when people say Grand Rising, and most people that use that term have no clue of the origin of where it came from. How it's become synonymous in the conscious community is kind of comical. As I explained to you guys before, it's a Masonic term, right? The term Grand Rising, to those who are, masters in the lodge, I told you that comes from, when you look at, if you've seen any pictures of when you go to some of the temples and the pyramids in Egypt, you'll see guardian statues sometimes at the door of the gate. They're dressed in the Egyptian namus, they're headdressed. They usually don't have a shirt on. They have the apron on with the staff. But you'll notice the apron is elevated. Okay? And there's a saying in the lodge, in the esoterical mysteries, a real man can raise the apron, meaning a real man can have an erection, which goes back to the priesthood of men. And if you know men, you'll see he deals with fertility, and you always see images of men depicted with an erected phallus, out and erected. So Grand Rising was a term used amongst the brotherhood. It meant Grand Rising, like you are a strong brother. You're a strong, viral man that could raise the apron. And it wasn't just talking physically from a sexual standpoint, that was part of it, but strong and viral on a mental, emotional, and most of all, spiritually. So it kills me when I see all these hoteppers, Grand Rising family, Grand Rising. Now, they could tell you they got their own definition of that started amongst them in them circles, but that's where the term comes from. Grand Rising's been used in the lodge for I don't know how many, it's for a long time. So it kills me when I watch these people, Grand Rising family, Cashapp family, Grand Rising. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that little tidbit in there. But back to the point. If you're holding on to spiritual practices that serve you no fucking purpose, please let them go. You don't know, the harder as we evolve down this journey and the day and time that we're living in, now more than ever is the time to shed bullshit that serves you no purpose. Okay? As I said, people come over and you see their little habits, their little things that they can't shake and get rid of, shit that they used to do when they were hoteppers or Christians or Muslims or whatever it was. To be successful on this path it's like clearing all the data out on a computer and the cache and starting from scratch. Rebuilding that hard drive, which is your brain, and reprogramming it with the correct information. Okay? That's what has to be done when you come on this path. But I see this is a big struggle amongst a large amount of people. They still want to hold on. And some have even created justification for doing so. That's the crazy part. But be honest with yourself. I don't know how many times I could say it. Be honest with yourself in 2025. Are there certain things you're doing spiritually that serve you no purpose and could be actually making matters worse, and you're just not aware of it? And ask yourself, if so, yes, then the next question you ask yourself, why am I holding on to this? What is it about this that I can't completely let it go? And sometimes there's some psychological and mental things there, on a personal level. I get it. But you're going to have to face and overcome those things, those challenges and those obstacles, if you truly want to master yourself. If not, man, you're just going in circles, right? Nothing is really ever changing, right? You have these periods or these moments, some that you might think you're getting results, and then it crashes and burns even harder and quicker. And everything I'm telling you, quote unquote, are the reasons why. So, what I would also ask people to do in 2025 in regards to this, look at what you're doing. Are your spiritual practices in alignment with what the path to self-mastery, the left-hand path, and the occult? Right? Are your practices designed towards getting that success on all levels, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially? Is it? Or is your focus and your intent, is it centralized somewhere else? Okay? So look at, are you still, again, look, you're all grown adults. We all know if we're doing something like that, right? But can we be honest with ourselves? Can we be honest with ourselves? Because I see people holding on to shit that I know for a while now, and they're still holding on to shit going back years. And it's like, what's the point of this? What's the point of this? Because some of the stuff is pretty much like a setback, because you're still caught up in what we like to say, the lesser mysteries, meaning more mundane shit. All those lesser mysteries, people get caught up and twisted in it. So it's very important that we ask ourselves, are we holding on to spiritual systems, practices, methodology, and ways that are completely useful and productive to our growth. So I would ask everybody to do that in 2025. All right. Now there's more, but I want to get into one last thing. And now I want you to really look at yourself, your personality, your character, and your habits. Right? And more so I want to focus on your habits because they create personality characteristics. Ask yourself, what good and bad habits do I have? What habits have I formed that are destructive to myself that I need to really go to work on this year and completely annihilate and destroy? Because, look, not all habits are bad and not all habits are good. Right? Developing good habits, that's a positive thing. Habits that are going to create growth and change, but habits that are destructive and create problems and issues, and it also ties into, being addicted or struggling with certain things in life. It could be food, it could be drugs, it could be sex, it could be personality traits and characteristics like having a short temper. You need to work on your patience. I could go on and on about this because it's all rooted and connected to a certain degree in shadow work. Ask yourself those questions. Okay? And be honest. Right? What habits have you developed, good and bad, that are either productive for your growth or destructive to your growth? And address it. And I don't care who you are. All of us have something that we can address, fix, work on, and make change. Anybody that says they don't, then they full of shit. They're not really on this path. Okay? Because if you think you're perfect and you got nothing wrong with you, and it's sad because, as crazy as it may sound, there are people out there like that. Oh, no, nothing wrong with me. I'm good. Oh, I'm straight. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. I'm good. Come on, dude. Be real with yourself. So I would ask you guys, right? And I can go on with a lot more. But again, these are short, quick tutorials. Make sure you're not carrying no dead weight with you into the new year. And because, as I said before, a lot of the shit people are dealing with, a lot of the struggles and the problems are self-created, self-inflicted, based on the choices and the decisions we make. And I've talked about this many times over the years. The choices and the decisions that you make is what we call cause and effect. And cause and effect is what true karma really is. Okay? Karma isn't some mystical energy that comes around if you're a bad boy or a bad girl. It's gonna bite you. No. That's not what karma is. Karma is created by cause and effect. The cause of what? The choices and the decisions you make. And then by those choices and the decisions, it's going to create the effect. That's real karma. So just think, if you understand that concept, how quick you can adjust and change things in your life. That's simple. All right? Other than that, that's going to wrap it up for me. Just wanted to do this quick tutorial. So check yourself. Check yourself before you wreck. Let me stop. Maybe think of that song. But you get the point. All right? Other than that, if you need to reach out to me, again, my contact email address to set up a reading or a consultation, the direct link to the social media pages, the direct link to the podcast, the direct link to the Primordial Chaos Patreon page to sign up for classes. All of those links are in the description box of this video that you are watching right now. Infernal blessings. We'll talk soon. I'm out of here.